welcome back. Um, I have one thing to talk about here, and well, it's not one thing, but it's going to be all in the same category. It'll, I'll be talking about relationships. Okay, relationships as in terms of competition within a relationship. There are good, and when I talk about relationship, I'm not talking about no tenderific relationship where you're sitting over there swiping right, swiping left, and you're online talking to these fictional people, and you know you may or may never meet them, and some dumbass is sending money to somebody they never even met before and really know stuff like that. That's not a relationship. I'm defining a relationship as you're getting with somebody, you're they're in your house, you're in their house, y'all going out, y'all dating, y'all making plans, stuff like that. Hell, they may be living together, you know. And it doesn't matter, it could be, a traditional heterosexual relationship, it could be LGBTQ, whatever, life partner, whatever the hell you want to call it. That's what I'm defining as a relationship. So when I'm talking about competition, okay, it's like you try to one up each other, or one side is trying to one up the other side because there's some reverse jealousy going on. So let's take for an example, like me and my ex-wife. She was one of those types. She was a hater, and I'm saying that in the literal sense of the word. She was a hater. It was like you could do no right. You know what I'm saying? It's like I would work. Let's say I work at a job. I got promoted. I get a bonus, whatever. Instead of us, celebrating and saying, "All right, let's, start planning some stuff." Oh, when can I get my Lexus? Or oh, you got another promotion, well, good for you, I wish they would promote me, blah 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 blah. It's like, it got to the point where I stopped talking about work. Well, how can you don't talk about work anymore? I was like, the fuck I need to talk about it for? It's like, it's something, if something good happens, it's wrong. If it's something bad, it's almost like you kind of celebrate the bad shit happening, you know what I'm saying? And when you have competition within your own house for stuff, you tend to start going against your partner. You know what I'm saying? And it should not be that way in a relationship. You're supposed to support each other. If you're going to have competition, do a good competition. Like, okay, I ran 2 miles, she ran 3 miles. The next day, I run 4 miles, she runs 2 miles. You know what I'm saying? Do something where it's like, it's a good competition type of thing. Something that'll make both of y'all better. Not hating where it's like you making your partner feel bad, and all of a sudden it's like you guilt them into your misery, or you had it. And I don't get how, if you're living in the same household, you have hate towards somebody. And it's only happened in two of my relationships, and I would say one and a half. Like, my ex-wife, for sure, that was hell. I mean, it was like everything that I got good, it was almost like I had a hot Russian blonde or a hot German blonde come through that damn door every day I went home, where it was like she was mad as hell at something. Let's just say we had a house that it was a three-story townhouse. And this is like when HD TV first came out and so forth. I told her I was buying an HD TV and put it down in the basement or whatever. Yeah, okay. So I go and buy the motherfucker. And excuse my French because I'm back in that mode or whatever. And, I hook it up and, tested out the TV or whatever. Man, I'll never forget. She came home from work. I'm telling you, I might as well had, a Brazilian girl up there, giving me a lap dance or whatever. She looked at that thing, man. I was like, I think I had a Sony when the HD first came out. She had this look on her face like, "Oh, what the fuck is this thing doing in the house? I'm never gonna see you now. You're gonna always be in front of that TV. The hell you think is gonna happen? You know what I'm saying? I mean, everything is about a competition. I don't care. She was one of those types of people where it was like you didn't care. She didn't care if she was called a bitch or a princess as long as you were showing her all of the attention. You know, we had kids in our house, and it was like if I spent time with the kids, then it's like, oh, you never spend time with me. It's like, the fuck is wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? It's like everything can't be about you every single moment of the day. You know, if tasks are being done in the house and so forth, if the kids had some issues with their homework, kids needed to learn this or do this or do that, it can't always be about you. You know what I'm saying? Just like it can't always be about me. And I was like one of those computer guys. I'm always building computers. You messed around with video games, stuff like that. You know, and if I needed to talk and all this other stuff, I'd get away from it. Not always, but I would get away from it. Just like she was into her books and stuff like that. There's you time, there's we time, and there's, all of us time. And especially if you have kids and you're married and stuff like that. I mean, there's a competition for attention, there's a competition for time and stuff like that. We all get that. Depending on what kind of work you do, you segment your day and so forth. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But when it comes down to making money and how people outside of the house view you, I don't want to say I could care less, but I really don't give a damn. Because what's important to me is what's inside that house, not what's outside that house. So, if there was a couple that did something, I'm not trying to match what they're doing. Because if they're going to, if they're going to Rome or they're going to, whatever the big travel destination is or the travel destination of the month, that's them. I'm not looking to match anything that they're doing. Now, if we're going to our epic trip, I'm only focused on that trip. I'm not focused on what, Tony and Tony are doing. You know what I'm saying? Male Tony, female Tony. I could care less what they're doing. I'm not thinking about the dress she's wearing. I'm not thinking about the suit he's wearing. I'm not thinking about the drinks they have. I'm not thinking about, the ship that they on. I don't care about the captain's ball. That's their thing. The only thing that matters is how we're going to do something. So if I'm on a date or something like that, I'm not thinking about, the Bojo the clown that's standing by the bar or whatever. I'm thinking about us. I'm thinking about our meal. I'm thinking about what we're going to do for the night. I don't look at somebody else and start fantasizing and so forth. Like, oh, I wish we could do what they do. Fuck them. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that matters is what's in front of you or whatever. So I don't look at competition in relationships. And the worst thing you can do is base your life and base your stuff off of somebody else. And whatever they do, they can buy a Mercedes. You can buy a Tesla. They can buy, a BMW. You can buy a Lamborghini, Maserati. I don't care what you buy. You're not in their house. You're not in their wallet. You're not in their head. But they're in yours. They're paying, they're getting free rent inside of your head. whenever you start looking at other people and wondering, well, how they're doing this, how they're doing that. Hell, they could be house poor. They could be, you know, using other people's money to do whatever. You don't know what the hell is going on with some of these other people. But then if you have a competition within your own house with your own partner, which is what I was really getting at with the video, that's all, extra stuff there. It's like if your girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, partner, whatever, has a good job that turns into a cush job, that turns into an executive job, you support what they're doing. It's adding to your house, it's adding to your lifestyle. You should have fun with it. You know what I'm saying? Don't make them feel bad that you're getting left behind and you're in the same damn house in the same damn relationship. It's like, you know, one is for one is for all. That's how it should be. It's not a competition if you really love that person, if you really care for that person. Notice I said ex-wife at the beginning because I can care less about the bitch now. But I mean, it's just the thing of it is, it's like you gotta think like if you care for what's in your house and you care about your relationships and so forth. And I don't want to hear no comment about you disrespecting and, toxic masculinity and all that. She is what she is to me. I mean, I don't care. So it's like you got to focus on that. You got to support. Dude, if my girl is top of the line as in terms of her career, or she's in a magazine or something like that, I'm supporting everything that woman does. If I'm doing a YouTube video, if I'm doing, if I'm building a house, if I'm running electric or whatever, and she's there supporting me, it, that's what matters. It's like she may not care about that stuff, but she supports what I do. I may not care about what she's doing, but I'm supporting what she does, and there's no competition there. You know what I'm saying? And depending on what that profession is, hell, if the person's a football player, that football player has a particular life and lifestyle. If you fell in love with a stripper, she has a particular lifestyle. So don't all of a sudden think because that he's with you or she's with you or whatever, that, they have to change everything to be with you. Now, it may come to a point where it's like, okay, we're going to have to make some long term decisions and so forth. But you are with who you fell in love with. If that's what you fell in love with, you can't change what that person is. And I did a previous video about, creating monsters and so forth. Because a lot of times, we fall in love with a person that we're attracted to, or something attracted us to that person. And we assume that if we get to them in a certain way, we're going to change them. Oh, she puts on a little bit more weight, or she takes off a little bit more weight. Oh, he gets bigger, he gets smaller, or I can take the thug out of him, or I can take, the focus off of him and make him into a real human being that I like or whatever. He got the look, but I'm going to give him the personality, whatever. You can't give nobody something that's not in them. If that person is what they are, yeah, they're going to change because you're there, because you tend to rub off on each other when you're actually in a real relationship. You kind of figure out what to bounce off that person. It's like, okay, you may be a better talker than she is. She may be a better planner than you are. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to take whatever good trait that person has and try to understand it and work it into your own, your own being and so forth. And then some of the bad stuff that you see them do is kind of like, hey, have you ever thought about this? If you don't argue with them, you know what I'm saying? And every relationship is different because, I can't tell you, as long as it's not abusive or whatever, hey, you got 8 billion people on this earth as of 2023, and maybe more than that. I'm sure you can find a few people to get along with and so forth. And don't make it a competition. And don't chase after the Joneses and so forth. Keep it in your house. Keep it in your relationship. Stop looking at other people, what they have. And no, I did not have an argument. I just figured this was a topic that I should bring up because I was thinking about some stuff earlier or whatever. And it's like, stop focusing on the outside stuff and focus on what's good for you two to be together. You know, do planning, embrace each other, you know, laugh at each other, enjoy each other, you know. Stop trying to make it a negative competition and so forth, especially with outside stuff that you can't control, like work and stuff like that, unless you have your own business. But if you're working for somebody else, hell, you don't know what that company's going to do. They can demote you, they can fire you, they can promote you, they can make you, you know, whatever. It's out of your hands, you know? And don't make a person feel bad because they get in more opportunities than you are. We all have our gifts, we all have our time, you know, celebrate each other, you know, stop, you know, making it into a competition. All right, I just wanted to put something out there, you know, just in case you might be going through one of those relationships where you feel like, you know, you got to sit over there and fight for estrogen and testosterone in your relationship because somebody want to compete with whatever the hell you're doing and so forth instead of supporting you. Until next time.